Firstly, thanks a lot for having me here. In terms of experience, you guys are, much more experienced than I am. But I would definitely love to thank Konnect Insights for this opportunity. And customer centricity is often spoken about a lot in our industry, in every industry for that matter. It's typically, I mean, in my opinion, it's typically involves understanding and fulfilling, customers and their needs and keeping them at the center of everything that we all do, while also trying to get some loyalty out of them, right? There's a fundamental basic understanding of customer centricity. So with that, on that note, I would just like to, I mean, obviously the definition and the KPIs for each of us, each of industry, and all of us differ a lot in terms of what our expectations are. But some basics do remain the same. Like Sandeep did speak about instant gratification, personalization. Now that is something that every customer across any industry, they expect that, right? So I just wanted to urge you to provide some specific examples or anecdotes that illustrate how your respective brand has translated the whole concept of customer centricity into tangible actions and outcomes. So I mean, I would like to start with you because ladies first.
Thanks, Prateek. So, in our case, which is a financial services industry, when we talk about customers, it's very specific and it's very, very important because there are financial instruments involved, there's money involved.
Yes.
So, usually what happens is in the broking industry, our product, which is our trading platform, is the backbone of everything that goes into the business. Now, while using a trading platform, there are steps which help someone or a consumer to execute orders or transact, buy, sell, etc. Now, there can be 2 steps, there can be 5 steps. So what we do is, once we get that information as to what the consumer is expecting and how to shorten that particular transaction journey, is something which we use very, very effectively. That's number one. And number two is, since it's financial transactions, price point is very critical. So if, for example, if a consumer is buying a particular stock, and if I'm asking him to go through 5 steps for transacting, the price may fluctuate like hell.
Right.
So it's very critical to make sure that the number of steps are less and it's quickly done through.
Amazing. Now with that, I mean, obviously when it comes to money, it becomes very serious ballgame. Now from that to Prateek, Zepto. Now we speak about everything instant, 10 minutes delivery, 5 minutes delivery, etc. How do you satisfy this sort of a need? Like, because ideally this was not the need per se, but more of a created. I mean, this was whole marketing that created, and then now all the quick commerce guys are competing this. So how do you tackle that? Please explain us that.
Sure. So first thing, 10 minutes delivery in itself, I think when Mr. Palicha and Kevin Vora started this business around 3 years ago, I think 2 to 3 years ago, nobody would have thought that 10-minute delivery in India is practically possible. When Domino's did this 30-minute delivery, also people were very shocked. So yes, 10-minute delivery is definitely a challenge. While a lot of work goes on ground in terms of ensuring that we are delivering to that promise, from a customer service standpoint, also it becomes even equally important, the kind of service that I provide. So we in fact take orders from 6 in the morning till 2 in the morning. So we are only shut for 4 hours. So if you need anything at 1:30 a.m., please log on to Zepto and purchase something. But on a serious note, yes, we do provide that service as well. Therefore, our customer service team is available from 6 in the morning till 3 in the morning. So that's the first thing that we ensure, that we are available for our customers whenever they need us. Secondly, also is because of the 10-minute delivery, they also expect like a 1-minute resolution sort of.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
How do you sort of manage that?
Yeah, so like I said, firstly the window, that's very critical and very important. Over a period of time, we've studied the data in terms of, analyzed it in terms of what kind of queries we're getting, what kind of customers are saying or what our customers are saying. Accordingly, what we've then done is basically we've tried to empower our frontline teams that if this is the scenario that you're coming or the customer is contacting you, let's not keep him waiting. We will do our internal investigations later, but let's give the solution to the customer. We also don't get into the aspect of any kind of a reverse pickup, so to speak. So if there is any problem that the customer may have faced with an order, then we give an immediate resolution, which in some scenarios can be any kind of other things, like if it's a missing item, we try and get that delivered. Or in a case where the customer says that it's probably damaged or a little problematic, then we will immediately go ahead and give a refund and tell the customer you can dispose the item if you'd like. So these are some of the things I think that we do to ensure that the customers, because of our promise of 10-minute delivery, also expect immediate resolution.
Thank you so much for that. Now with this, I mean, exactly the contrasting thing, Ashish, would be, you know, if in terms of real estate, the decision making is not instantaneous, right? Like there is, I mean, whoever purchasing a commercial property or even for stay residential, I think it takes a lot of time. I mean, I don't know the exact data, but then it's not like impulse category, correct? So what does customer centricity mean to you in that sense, and how do you guys make sure that in the plethora of real estate developers that are coming in the market, you guys still stay relevant?
All right. So, okay, just quick check, I'm audible. I'll ask everyone to just step back for a moment and think of what is the mindset of somebody who's coming onto social media to complain. This is the same as the guy who's standing outside your house on the road shouting at you. Yeah. And if you are not going to take any action at that point, what is going to happen is a crowd is going to collect around him, media is going to get involved, somebody is going to tweet to your CEO, and the situation is now out of your control. So for us, the most critical thing is for us to be able to quickly understand what are the trends happening, what are the anomalies that are happening, being able to isolate if there is something happening that needs to be immediately kind of called to attention. Because in case of a real estate, again, because it's a disorganized setup, there is a lot of commentary happening in the social space. There's a lot of people talking about different things. We have to be able to quickly understand what's going on, identify trends, classify, figure out what's a problem area, what's not a problem area. And for the problem area, what is it that we can kind of do to quickly take action? I'm not saying that we have to resolve it there and then, but what the important thing to do at this stage is that we need to be able to respond to the customer quickly and with compassion. He needs to know that he's being heard. He needs to know that there is a way forward to kind of fix the things which are bothering him. So for us, the way we kind of set up our social listening is essentially oriented around this. Being able to isolate where the problem is, what the problem is, who's responsible, who it can be escalated to, and what's the path forward to the customer. And this is kind of set up in a templated way so that it's not necessary that you have to wait for office hours for somebody to respond back. An agent is also able to take some proactive action as per a defined set of templates, as per a defined set of escalation matrices, and be able to kind of quickly reach out to the customer and ensure that situations don't escalate, they get diffused as soon as.
Thank you so much for that. Now coming to one of my favorite brands, Decathlon. I mean, I have experienced customer centricity in all shapes and forms, but for the larger audience here, can you please, explain how you guys are customer centric?
Yeah. So I'd like to open with a statement. So what we have internally is when a customer speaks, no one closes their ears. So that's the sense the entire company also kind of follows. So you might see that, okay, I'll give you an example. Maybe prior to 2020, if you've ever shopped with us, you might not have found something called as self-checkout counters. Yes. But something that we noticed is, okay, there's a lot of customers who are really facing issues with the line. So we're like, okay, we need to find a solution. So that's where we were able to kind of bridge the gap between customers' issue and what is the solution that we can give. And I think that kind of follows through the entire company. It's not just fixed to customer experience team, but the entire organization as a whole. You might have experience with our sport leaders or the people who assist you while when you're buying your sport equipment. So yeah, maybe I'd like to give that sense. It's not just limited to customer service, but the entire organization as a whole.
Thank you so much for that. Now, I mean, we often debate, everyone sitting out here, we often debate right mindset or right toolkit. which or both, which is according to you guys, what matters the most, right mindset or right toolkit or both? I mean, I'll start with you, Ashish.
I think that you start off with the mindset first, because that's going to essentially decide what is it that you want to do. That is going to decide what is it that you want to track and how you want to measure it. And that is going to decide what tools are going to be able to serve that purpose. So for me, it's a very linear process.
So mindset first and
Mindset
then.
first, which decides the tools.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to echo with that. I think mindset is the foundation, and then the tools are what empowers you. So if you do not have the mindset, you have the tools, it doesn't work. If you have the mindset and you do not have the tools to back it up, I don't think the balance is created there.
Although I'll add one more point. Maybe sometimes the tools can also inspire your mindset to kind of go in
I was just coming to that because, although you said what you said, I've seen contrasting experiences in a lot of my experiences as well, and a lot of my colleagues sitting out here where, they have decided, okay, this is what we sort of need, so let's get the tool first, and we'll then reverse engineer the strategy. So, there is no right or wrong answer, but I just wanted to know what, in your opinion, shapes what works for your brand. As simple as that.
I think I would also agree to what they've said. It goes hand in hand. You can't have anything in isolation, right? So, yeah, combination of.
First the mindset and then the tools. Prateek?
I completely agree. Again, the mindset is very critical. You may have the best tools in the world, but if you don't have the mindset of doing it, then it doesn't matter of the tool in hand. One example that I can give you of Zepto and where I come from and why I say mindset first is because there is something called as Jagruk that we do in Zepto. Any new joinee who joins the organization has to have a mandatory visit at the store. Actually, the entire organization, or to a great extent, what we have done also is that no matter what level you are at, no matter which team you are at, you are supposed to visit the store, understand how the store inventory works, understand how the packing of the product or the order works. After that, you actually physically sit with the rider, go to a customer's home and deliver the product to the customer. I think from there, a lot of it also then depends, because it's very easy for me from a customer service standpoint or person managing social media escalation standpoint say that, you know what, you are not doing this right, that's why I'm getting more escalations. Vice versa, they might say that you're not handling this properly. But when we both experience the same thing, on ground, in reality, meeting customers in person, it gives a different perspective altogether. And the entire thought is that if you don't understand your customer, if you don't meet your customer, you'll never be able to.
So every joinee.
Every joinee has to go to the store. Every
Interesting.
joinee has to then also go to.
Very, very
and do
interesting.
it
Thank you
delivery
so
as
much for sharing this. Now, since obviously we all are, I think in some shape or form using or have used Konnect Insights, right? So just can you share a specific success story or instance where Konnect Insights played a vital role in, enhancing your customer experience? Again, I'm not asking any testimonial, but just for understanding what, in which way have you guys used it for elevating your customer experience, because this may kind of be an inspiration for somebody sitting out there. So we'll go with Ashish first.
All right, so I'll give one use case that we really found a lot of use. We basically at Lodha, the marketing is split up between multiple different small teams, each of whom looks after specific projects. Now what we've used with Konnect Insights is that the way we've set it up, it allows us to tag any conversations or mentions that are happening in the social space to particular projects, and each of those marketing teams then has access to a Konnect Insights dashboard that allows them to isolate the chatter happening specifically for their projects. Now earlier this was not possible because it would be very hard to isolate project-specific stuff out of the entire mass of commentary that was going on. But now with this, the individual brand teams are able to essentially track how is their brand, how their projects are faring in the social space, and they can get an early warning sign if there is something that needs course correction or something that needs intervention. So we've been able to kind of respond a lot faster and basically be a lot more proactive and early in the handling of potential crises as well as addressing positivity.
Thank you so much for that. Darshan?
maybe I'll take it from there. Potential crisis. I was just showing Jitin about a tweet which Kunal Kohli made a couple of years ago. So he had a delay in his cycles being delivered. So again, we had multiple tags set up, and then thankfully it got into the tool at the right time. We were able to quickly address. What this also allowed us to do is kind of nullify the situation and allow the other tweets also to say, okay, they're at least taking care of your issue. And then, since I already told you, the organization runs with the mindset of customer first. So we were able to quickly coordinate with the store team nearby and then get a cycle delivered. In fact, he tweeted back again saying thank you, mentioning the people who helped him, and then thank you for your response. So again, I echo with what Ashish
So
said.
basically, it's kind of helped mitigate the crisis.
Of course,
Am I
mitigating the
correct?
crisis, and also it helped us push towards a very niche, customer concern back then. Delays, we were able to kind of push that to the teams and then get it through.
Bhavini, yeah, your use case is very, very unique. I would like to hear that because I think most of us, I mean, these are standard use cases that we all spoke about. Even even at gaming, even for Games 24/7, we use it exactly like what Darshan and Ashish already spoke about, tagging, listening, tagging, and then responding. But in your case, in your category, it does not always work in that order.
So see, for us, I think this particular feature of Konnect Insights, which is talking about the customer sentiments, where we get the information about what our customers are talking about us, what are the kind of sentiments, whether negative, positive, neutral, etc. Now, considering, since they spoke about crisis, for us what matters is the negative sentiments which come in. And they are very, very critical because that gives us the information as to where a product is lacking. Like for example, we didn't have a mutual fund investment native journey on our mobile app. And then we saw a lot of consumers saying that we need this, and that gave it a negative sentiment which was rising, and that's when we flagged it off to our products team that listen, this is what is required, this is what the customer wants. And then the product team started working on it, and that's how we got that implemented. So these kind of sentiments and inputs which were missing when we didn't have Konnect Insights, this has really helped us in developing a product much, much better today.
Superb. Thank you so much. Yeah, Prateek.
In today's age, it's very difficult for us to stay away from social media. I think it's more of a necessity now and not a luxury anymore. So picking up on some words that Ashish spoke about, which is the early warning signal or the early warning sign. I think systems like Konnect Insights, etc., what they help us do is basically be more proactive rather than reactive. Going into each handle, checking for somebody's written or not written, checking our messages, versus Konnect Insights helps us consolidate everything, which in turn helps us basically respond to the customer faster. With the dashboards and the AI, etc., that was spoken about earlier, what that also does is help us internally analyze with data and make necessary changes in terms of SOPs or processes also. There is a possibility that a lot of customers may be talking about a certain thing with all the system that is there available, which is the Konnect Insights system. All of that then helps us basically analyze, and when you analyze more stuff, you obviously are going to make course correction, or you're going to make better experiences for your customers. So I think a proactive approach rather than a reactive approach really makes a lot of difference.
Got it. So basically, proactive approach is what, I mean, if I have to draw one line, that is what you use it for. So, I mean, interesting, very interesting. And since you spoke about AI, that is something I wanted to end the conversation with. So everybody, like I told earlier also, and Samir also spoke about AI to a great extent. And mostly all tools that we have, seen in the SaaS industry, most of them are now, harping on generative AI being the next big thing for the customer, centricity for voice AI. There are a lot of plethora of products available out there who are pitching. They are pitching at AI. We are AI first tools. I don't know how far is it true or not. But what I wanted to, ask and leave, this open for audience also to interact was that, I mean, we have already seen the power of AI and all that, But what is the outlook in your opinion? And I'll this time I'll go with you first because I mean I think you are the most digital first brand, so to say. So what according to you is what is the outlook of adopting AI in CX, and are you guys planning to do that in the near future?
Look, as long as it's not impacting the customer experience, I'm all for it. Every technology that comes into the market always will have its pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
Having said that, I don't think it's very. You cannot again be in a place where you say I don't want to use AI. It's not going to happen because probably 10 or 15 years down the line, AI is going to genuinely going to be the next big thing, and we've clearly seen it with ChatGPT, etc.
Exactly.
Having said that, I think as long as you are able to control what you want to go or what you want to put on your app or your customer facing platforms, then I think it's a great tool. As long as you're controlling it and how much of it you want in terms of the human experience to be there, and how much of it you want the bot experience to be there. That's the only thing that I would say.
But do you think this will completely change the way CRM operations work? Like as of now, if you ask me honestly, it's agent first or it is human first. Will it in a way change that agents are there, but then the filtration, 80% of the filtration is done by the AI. Then agent just has to sort of understand and give the human touch. Do you think that will be that will be the case?
Frankly, I think that way. But what I also think is that we also have to understand that with the generation that is coming and slowly and steadily coming more, they are very exposed to the technology that is already available in the market. You will know 8-year-olds, 9-year-old and 10-year-old people. I mean, kids have mobiles and they probably know how to operate social media better than I do, for sure. And with that, I think it'll be a welcoming change for them. They would rather do it themselves or wait for somebody to speak. One more example I'll give you. A lot of today's generation also wants to do is chat and not talk.
Yes.
With that, I would only like to say that in my 100% of the volumes that I cater to on a daily basis, 80 to 83, roughly 85% is chats.
Whoa.
So
that's a lot.
Because the customers who are purchasing through the app, a lot of the volume is through the app, and therefore because of those purchases, if they're already tech savvy in terms of the purchase that they're making, they would rather prefer the chat because they can do something else in the meantime.
Yeah.
So with all of these things, I'm sure AI is definitely there, is definitely helpful. You can never remove the human touch. So I will never say that we will never have associates. That will always be the case. But I think that if there's something that a customer can get resolution to very quickly on the bot or through AI without any human intervention, then why not? I'll just
Thank you so much for that. Bhavini, with you, I mean, slight tweak in the question because of the fintech experience and SBI being, like a very traditional brand per se. So, I just had two things. One, with respect to adoption, do you think that is a challenge, SBI being SBI? And second, do you think that this whole, because of the data privacy laws that you guys have, do you think, adoption of, even though there will be a, welcome change with the adoption, but then because of the whole, privacy and privacy concerns, you guys may not want to? Do you think that?
See, we are largely governed by SEBI and exchanges, so it's very difficult to always have that automation or AI element in our transactions. That's practically not possible. So while yes, so what we have done is, yes, we have adapted to some extent where if a person wants to open a DMAT account, we have a DIY journey, which is completely online without any human intervention. But at one stage then, there has to be human intervention where, the KYC check and all has to go through and then the account is opened. So completely it's not possible. To some extent, yes. And yes, like you rightly said, SBI and human intervention, that's not something which can really happen. So even today, like since it's SBI Securities, around 70-75% of our clientele is from the bank. And even in that, it's majorly from tier 2, tier 3 cities where technology embracement is still not at a very great level. So we have our branches, we have our dealers who help customers to make trades, and because not all of them are comfortable doing it through a mobile app and stuff like that. So in our case, yes, human intervention
Is a
required.
must.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. With that, Darshan, what are your views?
So I think I agree with what ma'am just said. I think we can't completely go away from human touch for us.
That's a given. See, India, in terms of Indian context and
Yeah.
Indian consumer behavior, that's a given that nobody, no industry will ever be able to be completely, go AI route and, remove the human touch. What I want to know is how do you see it adopting? Because see now, most brands, most tools, everybody is talking about it, and everybody wants to be the first one to explore the power of AI. So is there, and since you guys after COVID have seen a lot of digital adoption, so are you guys also planning to do something on those lens? Obviously, I mean, just from an overview, like, I don't want you to get into the details, but
Of course.
from the broader bird's eye view.
If I can add on in terms of customer experience perspective, yes, of course, there will be a lot of push towards personalization. Like I think Sandeep sir also mentioned, there's a lot of necessity for personalization today. If a customer does not relate with what you're saying, he or she might not even continue. So I think the majority of push would come towards the personalization. I think more on the lines of how can a customer make a faster decision, not really waiting for another person to come and tell you what a particular product can do. So I think the push could be more towards personalization for the country.
Got it. Thank you. Lastly, Ashish, what are your views in terms of how real estate? Because real estate again, I would say has matured a lot post-COVID, thanks to all the government regulations and stuff. So how do you see the whole AI customer centricity getting adopted in the real estate world?
I'll take the view that we are going to be seeing a lot more of AI in the service side. Mostly because the reason that most people say that when I'm chatting, I want to talk to a human agent is because that's a reaction from what chats used to be, which was basically a digital version of an IVR. All the chat would say that if you want this option, choose this button. Now you choose from this set of options, choose this. And then you get lost. That what I came here to do, I don't know how to find it, I don't know how to go back. So just press 9 for customer service, 9 for customer service. Somebody will at least explain to me and hear me out and solve my problem. Now with AI, this is something which you can do with a chatbot directly. Most of the chatbot today with AI enabled can pass a Turing test. Next time you're trying to return a product on Amazon, you will honestly not be able to tell that did I talk to a person or did I talk to a bot. But the point is it got the job done. So what I think is that at least in 40%, 50% of cases, chatbot or with an AI enabled will be able to solve the problem which currently you would want a human person to do today, which means that now the rest of your human team is free to tackle the really complex problems which require judgment, which require references to other past scenarios, etc., and needs some level of escalation on a human call, which means now you're making use of your humans as humans and you're making use of your machines
as machines. Thank you so much for that. With that, guys, I'll open the floor for questions that you might have for our esteemed panel. Anyone?
Hello. My question is for Prateek. So Prateek, you mentioned that, so this is basically, I've seen it as a customer focused kind of an approach where, you don't ask any questions and there is a return that happens. So what, does it happen that your returns are higher because you have a simple way of dealing with the customers ki you don't want to have a long conversation and you just want to end the conversation with
Yeah, so that's not the case actually. What we also do something internally is customer segmentation. So obviously there are, while I want to be truthful to 90% of my customers, unfortunately or fortunately, there are going to be a good set of 5-10% of the customers who are always going to try to manipulate. It happens in insurance, it happens everywhere basically, right? So what I do is I do something called as customer segmentation. Basis your past history, basis how you've been reacting to us basis how you've been connecting with us. And if your history with us is good, we know that you're not that kind of a customer who is going to manipulate, who probably is not going to, kind of game the system. Then we're more than happy to give you whatever you want with no questions asked. With certain scenarios where we know that certain set of customers may not really use it to the best of their advantage or may want to misuse it for any reason, then we will act accordingly and we will then give a resolution accordingly.
Got it. What is the number with respect to returns?
I can take it offline.
Okay,
with you.
okay, thank you.
Anyone else, guys? All right, in that case, thank you so much for your time, guys. Thanks a lot.